Good afternoon, my dear friends. Today, I thought I'll share some thoughts on a very important topic, which is CA exams in COVID times. This seminar was previously done with Sicasa on 12/6. As there was no recording, I thought for the broader audience, I decided to record it so that it will be useful to all those who could not participate on that day. The main points for today's discussion are under these heads, basically present situation in which we are caught, from now to then, which means till the date of the exam, date on the days of the exam, how to manage the situation, after the exam, what to do. These are the main structures in which I have actually decided to do the presentation today. Let us review the present situation, how it is. About 1.5 years back, we were so happy with whatever lives were going around happily, and we never even knew what was corona. Something we were hearing at the back. We only knew there was something called Nipah, which was specific to Kerala. It was only located to a certain area, and we did not bother about it because at that time it was controlled very well. So we thought probably corona also will be controlled. It is never going to affect us. That is a scenario in which we were going, and maybe we were knowing about it, but yet we were not bothered. But then what happened? Lockdown was announced, and we were just made like caged animals. If you can remember, about 1.5 years back, or 1 year back approximately, on March 24th or so, it was announced. Until April 15th or so, we were totally like, stuck at home. Once it was lifted, we thought that okay, now we have done what we have to do. As lockdown was required, we stayed at home. So lots of people suffered, because especially migrant laborers, they had to suffer, but we were quite okay. And once it was lifted, we thought, okay, now that we are going back to our regular life, so there is no problem, it is normal, right? But then things did not happen that way. It started to get worse, and there were certain fatalities at that time. A lot of people, not lot, at least some people lost their lives. But yet it was far off. It was not known to you, right? Somebody, we don't know. But then we were given the assurance that, once the vaccine come, everything is done. So there's no problem. You will be absolutely normal. So that was a scenario in which we were going through. And now, today, in this situation, already 1.5 months is over, and almost from April onwards, the second wave has struck us like anything. It has really made us again back to where we were, of a caged animal, and we are again locked up. And now it is not only that it is second wave is a second wave. It has taken up with lot of fatalities. The number of people who have died are now nearing us. We know somebody very near who has passed out, who has passed away. So therefore, now the second wave is really near us. And on top of that, with this sentiment of negativity, we are locked up at home. That is again adding up to our frustrations, right? And now what we don't know, God only knows what is going to happen, whether it's going to be a third wave. They're talking about a third wave. We don't know what's going to happen, when, how, we don't know. Absolutely clueless. That is a scenario in which, CA students are. And that is where we have again have another this thing, that CA foundation has been postponed. Now, what is there for the next level of exam, which is the intermediate and the final? We don't know. We have to wait. As of now, it is going to start on the 5th of July. This is a scenario of a senior student where, it is precarious. Is really a CA student in this scenario is just, bound to self-sympathize himself. Why me? The question, why me? Why me? I am caught in this situation. It is terrible situation. But you need to understand, my dear friends, that this is the best time to, think that these are the best times that I am born, because in the sense that this is the most difficult time in the century, not only in this decade or this thing, it's in the century. It's a once in a lifetime issue. And this difficulty that you're passing, if you are able to surmount this, Believe me, this is a story that you're going to tell to your children and grandchildren. And anytime if you're going to face with an issue in your life, you'd say, oh, I have come through with corona. This is nothing. That is the way you have to think about this entire thing. Don't worry, this is what is going to be the most difficult thing that you've faced in your life, because it's a once in a lifetime. This Spanish flu, what they call about, was in 1918, almost 100 years back, similar to this. Now this is once in a lifetime, so if you are able to go through this with lot of positivity and somehow get through with this, you will see that you have gone through a most difficult time of your life, and that is going to sustain you, is what I am trying to say. So you have to think like that in a positive way. Now, how do we go about from then? So how to prepare ourselves from now to the exam? This is what we will look at it. How to stay positive, also we have to look at it. We'll have some examples for that. Exams are to be concluded and scheduled. What it means is, as of now, even though of all the negativities around the dates and all these issues, one thing is certain, should be certain in mind. I am going to write the exam on the 5th. This should be the clarity in which you have to sit and think today. You cannot think, no, no, maybe the exam is not. No, no, don't think like that. The exam is going to be conducted as scheduled on the 5th. This is the most important positive statement you have to give to yourself. If you don't give that statement, what is going to happen is everything that you prepare from now then is not going to be proper, and if the exams are conducted, you will not be able to appear it well. And that is where you have to understand that there a lot of students may not be able to prepare. If you prepare properly from now then, you may be able to get through. Therefore, plan for the remaining days. Well, very well plan whatever remaining days. Now, how do we plan? We have to see. First thing is, you try to understand that if you want to get a good confidence, for the exam, try at least 2 mocks, assuming that you more or less covered the syllabus. Because at this point, I hope that you would have covered the syllabus. At least 2 mock tests you try it out as much as possible. Even if you have to look at the answers and do it, doesn't matter, but make sure that you try it out, because you have to make sure even the time is what you think you are not able to reach. It doesn't matter, but please try 2 mocks. You may also go through the RTPs and suggested answers and all wherever possible, because these are the things that is going to make sure that wherever you got that big channel, you have to bring it like a funnel, make it closer to the exam, so that all your knowledge that you've gathered in the matter of only few months that you have been studying, it is bringing to the target of your 5th and onwards. That is what these mocks and RTPs are going to do. Do not audit the questions, please work out, because mind you, exams you have to go and write, and if you don't practice writing, what is going to happen is you will not be able to write it well there. Therefore, try and write the question answers in yourself. Try to make your effort to do it, because if you do it, you'll see a lot of things that you have studied will also be clear to you, as well as you will be prepared. Mind you, when you were studying school, you would have written your midterm, term, and how many terms, 2 3 terms, then maybe class tests are also. So class test, midterm, term, again second term, so many exams you're on, then only you come to the final exam. And here, mind you, without even trying it out, how can you go at all have the right confidence to go and appear in the main exam? You just imagine. So therefore, don't just think that you are writing your class tests. Mock tests are like your class tests or midterm exams. Prepare like that, build a scenario. And the most important thing is that you have to keep away from negative minded friends. Maybe they are the best of friends, but then if they are very negative, they are negative. Some students are like that, some friends are like that. They are very anxious, and what they do is they start uh, talking it out. When they talk it out, what happens? It has a very, very contagious effect. Therefore, be careful that such students, such friends, if you have, who are very negative minded, I'm not saying just throw them away or something like that. Just keep a little distance, slowly, slowly keep that distance, because if you yourself are down, on top of that, if the negative minded friend keeps on repeating negative things, then what happens? You'll also become contagious, and you will also fall prey to negative thinking. That is why you have to avoid such things. It's a very difficult thing, I know that, but then you have to make a conscious effort, because these are things that are hard decisions you may have to take sometimes. Yet, you have to understand that you have to keep in contact with those with whom you can discuss, Those who are positive, because discussion is very important when you're going to write an exam, because some issues you're not clear, you may have to talk to somebody, and when you're down, you have to talk to somebody, right? You can't be just on your own. Therefore, you have to talk to somebody. The What I meant was that keep friends, no doubt, but if there are two friends which are too negative, just keep a little away. That is what I would suggest. And similarly, even when friends you get together, avoid too much of talk. Little bit is okay, but too much of chit chat without any meaning doesn't make sense. Try to talk to your friends who are doing CA, so that the topic also will be relevant relating to CA. Avoid social media, but yet you have to keep it. It's a necessary evil today. That's what I could call you, because the updates and things like that, you are getting through that. But yet, if you get into social media too much, what happens is you lose control of your time. That is the reason why I'm telling you, please keep your social media limited, except for updates, and especially this. After the exam, you can increase it, doesn't matter, right? So don't get caught up in that. Take some conscious decision to do that. Visualize the exam scenario, especially when writing mock. This is what I was mentioning. When you're writing mock itself, you think that you are sitting in the exam hall, you are trying to visualize that scenario, so that it helps you to build up that scenario, so that it is like a preparation for that. Keep revising material as much as possible. Whatever you have studied, please revise. Don't try to reinvent the materials or the book or whatever you have studied at this point. Don't try to bring a new book and again study. Don't do that. Whatever you have been doing, it from that itself, keep on revising. If you start looking at new books, then it becomes very dangerous. That is what I would suggest. Don't do that, because your material is very important, and that material, whatever you have studied, keep revising that. After the lockdown is over, one more thing, you have to be very careful, because we are expecting the lockdown to be over in the next couple of days. If it happens, that is when you have to be extra careful, because I know you have been caged animal. Now when you want to get out, you want to rush and do whatever things you could not do on the food. Maybe rummies, you know some good food, or waffles or something like that, waffy or something in ashramam. That's what probably you may be interested, to get together with your friends, and have a good, nice get together. Be careful, because from now to the exam, if you fall sick, you are in for trouble, because you have to be very careful during this period. So you can talk on the phone. Don't have to meet this time. Let another 15-20 days, let it go. After that, you can sit and do whatever. Now, one more important thing that we are getting into is positive thinking. Very important, because if you don't understand this concept, you need to be very careful, because thinking positive is the most important thing here. Therefore, again, I'm telling you, more than the ability, it is the power of the mind that is going to make you pass the exam, which is where we will look at some example, very beautiful example of Roger Bannister, who was an athlete in the 50s. Now, during those times, running a mile within 4 minutes was thought to be impossible. Mile will be about, I don't exactly know, but about, more than a kilometer, of course. It's about 1.5 times or something like that. So it is very difficult or impossible. It was thought impossible that a mile can be run in 4 minutes. Then what happened? Roger did it in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. And that's where you can see the image of Roger. Sorry, 1 second, I'll put it my down. Yeah, now you can see the image of Roger. See how he has done it. That was way back in 50s, that he made sure that he could do that. There are a lot of people who were trying along with him, they were not able to do. And there was one fellow called John Lardy also, who attempted several times, and he was making around 4 minutes 15 seconds. But then just see what happened. Just in 56 days from the time Roger broke the wall. Which wall? That wall of 4 minutes in the mind. There's a mind wall. John Landy also broke his mental wall and made it in 3 minutes and 57.9 seconds. See, he has beaten even Roger. Just see the difference. What has happened is that John Landy could break his mind. He had a mental wall of not able to complete in, that under 4 minutes. And he could do it. The current record for 1 mile is held by Hisham of Morocco, and you see how much it is, 3 minutes 43.13 seconds in 1999. After that, it's not been broken. The first still, I mean, it is. it has been broken again, which is what is the meaning. Now let us try to understand that had this been you, I hope you have heard about Usain Bolt, who used to run 100 meters in 9.58 seconds. He's a sprint guy. Now, now think about it. If he runs this, how much time will he take? Can you any guesses? I'm sure he will take about 2 minutes 45 seconds or so because he's running 100 meters in 9.58, right? Therefore, he will be able to do much faster. But just see what happens. It is hypothetical. Usain Bolt cannot run 1 mile race. He cannot run because his body, his training, everything is only for 100 meters. Therefore, what happens is even if he has to run, he can do it only in four. This is a hypothetical calculation in only 4.20 seconds, which means that Usain Bolt is fit for a sprint, whereas these guys are more for a marathon. And here is where one more lesson for you. One is the power of the mind, that it is more in the mind, as we say, that once you break it in your mind, then that's it. Even passing CA exam is more in the mind. If you think you cannot, you cannot, which is what is we are going to come to look at it. And another lesson that we are looking at is CA exam is not a sprint, which Usain Bolt was doing. If somebody is trying to do practice for a sprint, it is of no use because CA exams are all about marathon. Like these people, longer time, you have to sustain it. It is a long period game, and that is where you need lot of positivity, right? So let us move on. Now, here are some catchwords to understand, or to make you more positive. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So just see. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And that's what most of the time the difference between a student who is passing CA and not passing CA. This is the most important thing. The student who is very, very sure in his mind he can do it, he will do it. A person who is negative in his mind, he cannot do it. In either way, you are right. Yes, you are right. It all depends on self belief. So these are the things that you need to keep inculcating, reading it again and again to give yourself positive mind. Yes, I can do it. If not me, this is also what you need to tell yourself to. Who else will pass? When else am I going to pass? This is the best time to pass because these are troubled times. A lot of people will not be taking it seriously. Let me take it seriously and get through this time. This is the best time to pass. This is what you need to, you know, think about it. You have to write this in front of your desk and keep it. Now, sir, you're talking a lot of positive. I am very positive now. This is what a student will typically think, or you're thinking. But after a few days, sir, I am very, very depressed again, back to square one. Today, I'm very positive. But after 2 days, I am sustaining this positivity. I'm studying, every day. I'm getting up and doing it. But after 2 days, again, that thing is coming. What do I do? How do I sustain it? There's always a problem with the students. No fast track remedies for medicines. That is what I believe. In fact, it's a combination of various factors which are going to make you positive continuously. Let us see what are those factors. How to sustain ourselves. Most important thing, good friends, apart from of course your family and relatives. Again, but relatives, I will qualify it because there are a lot of relatives who give more trouble than anything. They give more. They'll come and ask, what happened? You see, what happened? You're again writing. What happened? You didn't get it. What is the problem? Those relatives, just forget it. I'm talking of good relatives. So good friends, good relatives. Have good role models, people whom can look forward to, you can look up to. There are a lot of good role models who will help you. Read good books and writings, which is very important. Good books you have to read, motivational books. There are so many available today. Amazon is available for you. You can just order in Amazon, you can get it. Or you can get good writings about good authors who can give you motivational talk, or you can, and most important, not only books, you've got YouTube. You can go to YouTube and go to those sites like TEDx and all that, and Josh, or so many portals are, so many channels are there where you can hear to beautiful speeches. You'll get motivated. But again, that YouTube is also can give you a lot of other things which will be waste of time. So you have to be careful. So if you select and do it, it is the best thing that you can do. Most importantly, in these times when you are caged, you have to prepare a regimen of exercise, regular regimen. Even as, sir, where do I go and do? If the gym is not working, sir, where do I go and work? Where do I do this? So don't tell us to do because gym is not working. This is what is standard thing. I've been regular when the gym is open. Let's start with 30 minutes walking. That's good enough. Why are you thinking of a gym and all that? 30 minutes of good walking. If you are still wanting more, go another 30 minutes. That is good enough for you at this time. It will make you fit. If you can do yoga, that is the best. But again, yoga you cannot start at this point. You should do so. Even in your course of time, if you are able to do practice yoga, you will learn yoga. But again, mind you, there is a warning. Yoga has to be learned from a teacher who is good, because it is otherwise very dangerous. It's not physical only. First is the physical aspect, then you move into higher thing. But yes, if you do yoga, your brain somehow works differently. Your wiring changes. That is what I can tell you. You'll always feel good. You cannot imagine the benefits of yoga. And of course, nearby, 21st June is coming, which is supposed to be yoga day. You can make a promise to start that day. No, that is possible. Then of course, very important thing is healthy food, right? So again, as I told you, when the lockdown comes out, go and have a good food. I've not had good food at my favorite restaurant. Don't do that phase, because you will fall sick. Because all the days you're not had, and there might be spicy food, avoid till the date of the exam. Even otherwise also try to have good food, because all these spicy foods actually makes you sluggish, and you will not be having this positiveness. Nature care, which is about basically go around nature. You can even in this time of COVID, what you can do is have some plants around you, small plants. You can start growing a little bit. You can take care of them. It's a good entertainment and good time pass. It will also help you, because it will help you be positive, basically. Some other thing that you need to do, which means that you have to consciously pour positive thoughts to drive away the negative thought. This is very important, because every time, every second, you have to think positive. If you don't think positive, what will happen? The negative thoughts will take that place and drive away the positive things away. And then it will be filled, your mind will be filled with negative thoughts. That's where I've read somewhere where there are two workmen in your mind. One is a positive workman, one is a negative workman. Each time you call the positive, he will come and he will do more work for you and drive away the negative workman. If you call the negative workman, he will come work for you more and he will drive away the positive. Therefore, you know now which one you have to call more. The more you call the positive workman, you will be better off. The negative fellow will go away. Right? Now, another catchword that you need to look at, which you need to write and keep it on your desk. If they cannot do it, doesn't mean I cannot do it. Here's where we need to understand, especially in audit firms, when you join, there might be some seniors who have not cleared the exam. And I have come across some students telling, sir, my seniors told me you are never going to pass. Why are you studying? Why bother? Because you're not going to pass. This type of negative thought, if the students are getting, you can imagine what is going to happen to the student. That is where you have to tell that if they cannot do it, doesn't mean that I cannot do it. I'll do it and show. That is how you have to think. I am inferior to none, I can outsmart anybody. This is the way you have to think yourself. I will make sure that I am good to than anybody. I am the best. If not now, then when else? This is what we've already seen. This is the best time to write the exam. This is the best time to pass the CA exam. This is how you have to look at things. There's no better time. Now, let us move on to some standard things. We know these things. Some of you have appeared the exam, yet for the sake of, reminding you these things, some of these basics, yet lot of students make mistakes on this. Therefore, I'm just thought to put in a few words on this so that you are updated and, you just tick these items. Number one, exam related items like pens, calculator, admit card should be kept the previous day. Don't try to, search for it the day of the exam. Pens especially, buy it in lots, same pens. I don't know the names, but I'm saying any pen that you are using, same pen, buy 10, 15, doesn't matter. Keep it in extra quantity, because that same consistency, the same pressure that you are comfortable with should continue throughout the exam. Calculator, don't buy 2 days prior to the exam, because that is dangerous. You may not be used to that. Buy it at least 2 months prior to that, and make sure that you are used to that calculator. Otherwise, you will slow down in the exam. Admit card, of course, I don't have to tell you, you have to carry it out. And when you come back home, don't take these items from the bag, keep it in the bag, and next day whenever is exam you can take it, unless you want to use a calculator or something. Very important. These are things that you think not important. I feel it's very important, especially because you are writing a professional exam. You have to be very careful. Sleep early the previous day, because if you are going to sleep very late, what is going to happen? You will lose all the energy to write the exams. Therefore, try to sleep a little early. Again, I leave it to you, but I suggest that these are the best practices, as you say. If you have, that is why I'm saying don't delay till the last moment to study whatever is there. More importantly, you have to relax yourself. I know there are certain students who used to like just go for movies before the exam. They are prepared that much. I have just want to relax because I am more or less prepared now. I will go there and just relax and you do it. That's a way of doing. I'm not saying that is the best way. I'm saying there are some people who could do it. What I'm trying to convey is that relax yourself. Don't put too much on the last day. Then it becomes, the performance level may not be the way you want. Another important thing which a lot of students don't take care is when you go to the exam, you be comfortable in your dress, because the dress that you wear should be ideal for the season. It's very hot. If you wear a very black dress, you'll sweat. You'll not be comfortable. You'll itchy, and itchy feeling will become, and you will not be able to concentrate the exam. That is why I'm saying please make sure that wear a dress that is comfortable for the occasion. Don't try to wear too jazzy dresses, and you're not going to show off there. Be relaxed. Wear a very comfortable dress. That is what it's saying. You should feel comfortable all the time. Have light breakfast and lunch, but never skip them. This is also very important, because some students, no, I'm very tense, I can't eat anything. Don't do that. Never do, because these are points that what happens during the exam, you will suddenly feel something going off in your mind. It will go blank because of these issues. Therefore, you have to be careful. Meaning, you don't have to eat too much. Even having too much is also a problem. But have something light. At least make sure that you have something. One more very good way of looking at it, just fool yourself that it's a normal day. Don't think that it's something special, I have to do this and all. Just see that as a normal day. Try to make it as a normal day. You're going there, you have written exams throughout your school days. Just think it's another day, I'm going to school and writing the exam. It's nothing more than an exam, like your school exam, only this is. Reach the exam center at least half an hour before the exam. This is very important. Don't try to be late, because especially today, the transport is uncertain. Therefore, make sure that ideally make your own arrangement, but reach at least half an hour before the exam. The first day, of course, you have to reach earlier, because you have to find your seat and all that. Therefore, it is better to reach a little earlier. So do not discuss with your friends subject matter, as it will affect your confidence. This is very important, because what happens, you go there with a good mind, with a positive mind, and then what happens, suddenly somebody will say this you have to study, that's your study, you'll get tensed. Lot of times it happens. Therefore, it will affect your confidence. Don't allow your confidence to get affected. Ideally, travel by private vehicle as much as possible. Now, I'm not talking of private bus, I'm talking of private vehicle, right? So if you go to the local private bus, that is also risky. If you can avoid it, that is the best possible. Ask your dad, or mom, or somebody can leave you for these few days and bring you up. That is the best thing that can happen. Or if you can make some arrangement. Now, most importantly, when the exam day, you go with full confidence, expecting the questions that you're prepared. And what are the questions to be prepared? That is what we are. When you do mock, when you do RTP, when you do suggested, you will get that idea. What is the questions that can come? That is how you have to go, that I am going to expect these questions. This is the way it is going to come, and therefore I am very confident about the what is going to come. And even if the questions are not what you expect, sir, then what happened? I couldn't do, because I expected something, something else came. This is going to happen also all regularly. You expect, but you go with full confidence. But when something what you expected did not come, in fact, a lot of times, what I'm out of 6 to 8, 7 questions, two questions may be like that. It's always going to happen. Don't panic. What you need to do then is that if the exam is tough for you, it is tough for everyone. That is what you need to think. It is not for you only. It is for tough for everyone. So that is what you need to keep in mind. Dig deep. That is where you have to really, make sure that make your, legs strong on the floor, and do not take any emotions. Do not allow your emotions to take over. The sudden panic, what happens is this will become blank. Don't do that. Just cool down, take a deep breath. And you know what you need to do is, when you take a deep breath, you will get relaxed. When you get relaxed, automatically you will be in control. Salvage the situation. This is what we are trying to say. Salvage it. Whatever possible, you try to do what is best I can do in this period. And that needs a lot of mental grit. So this needs a lot of strength, which we'll look at a little later with an example. You need to just think that it's after all an exam and I'll give a best shot. This is the way you have to think about it. I've written exams. One exam may go wrong. Next, I will make sure, but let me try to do best what I can do now. This is where mentally weak students, what happens, they will think negatively and they may not be able to complete paper. Don't become a weak student. Don't be mentally weak. Make sure that this is where you have to control yourself. Let me do what I can do. Look around. You see, forget about them. Let me do my best. Because you see some students, going and giving the paper and walking off. Don't get into that. Don't look at them. I say, I will sit, dig myself deep, and make sure that I'll finish the paper come what may. Complete whatever you know and attempt all questions. But do not try to bluff the examiner. Don't write something, not related. Something related you try to write. That is what is important, because if you don't write, you will not get marks. Therefore, it is very important to write relevant things, but as you're not known also, something relevant you write. Now, another important thing on the day of the exam, which you need to look is, you get some time to reading time as they call, because 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they'll give time. At that time, don't try to read the questions in detail. This is again my view. You can have a different view, but I'm saying that should not read the questions in detail, because in the time that and panic about it, read it and oh my God, this I don't know, that I don't know. Don't do that. Ignore the compulsory question totally, because if you are having a compulsory question, you have to do it anyway. What's the point in looking at it now? What you have to do in that time is, which question I can leave in the choice. First question anyway I have to do, or this question I have to do. If I don't have to look at it anyway, I have to do. About the other questions, by generally looking at it, how do I try to get which one I have to leave. This is a maximum that you can do. It is not a choice. You can just take it later on also. You can change your choice, but then as an initial step, you can do it. And if you read generally, what are the things you will have that, okay, these are things that has come, okay, I'll plan. So the planning will happen at the back of the mind. Also be careful that you may get a problem which you think you know well and you try to attempt. This is also a dangerous thing for the student. They would have seen a problem and say, this problem I've done it so many times, I know this problem, I know 100% I'll do it. This is where you have to be careful. Most of the time they don't read it carefully. There might be some certain changes in the question from the way you have done it earlier. Therefore what happens is that when you have done that, worked out, you have a certain way, some subtle changes are there, and you think that know it very well, and you start doing it, but there are changes and you get into a trap and you lose time. You keep doing it because it becomes a challenge for you, because you think that, you know what, no, I will do it come what may, because I know it. And then you overshoot the time, and as a result your time for the other questions also is lost. Therefore time management is very essential. When you have this much time for a question, I am not getting into that 180 minutes, 100 marks, so 1.8 minutes per mark, like that you have to calculate. Be ruthless about it. The moment you're done, go to the next problem, leave some space, go to the next problem. In CA, attempting all questions partially gets you more marks than attempting full questions. Very, very important. So if you just try to think, no, four questions I'll do perfectly, press two, you you not be sure about it, because those four may not be going right. You don't know. That is why it's better to attempt all questions, even they are not 100% complete. It doesn't matter. Therefore, take care that you attempt all questions, whichever is there, except for the choice. Now, very important, after the exam, what do? Do not discuss with the answers to the questions with your friend. Never do this mistake. Once you come out of the hall, just walk off, run home. Especially during COVID, don't talk to friends, don't hang around, just go. Don't discuss the questions at all, even if you are talking to somebody. It always has a disastrous effects. I'm not getting into that. There are a lot of occasions the students have got into trouble. In fact, you should just forget what you have written. This is the best way to think. Forget it. That's over. Can you change it? No. You've already given the paper. The next process has started, that the paper is to be packed and sent to Delhi then and there. You cannot even see the paper, it's gone. Then why bother about it? You can't change the fate, it is already gone. So it's better to forget about it that you've written that paper at all and focus only on the next exam. That's the best thing that you can do. And the same routine should be repeated for all the exams. Unnecessarily, why do you want to worry about their exam that's gone? After all exams, if you of course have the energy, you can sit with your friends and discuss all the answers and come to a conclusion whether you'll pass or fail. Because I only say, why do you want to do all that? You give the examiner the choice, right? Let him, he is given the responsibility of making you pass or fail. Why do you want to create that thinking that I will pass and fail? Don't leave it. Don't even bother it. You may have a judgment, but leave it. Don't beyond that, go and get into it. Now, after the exam, again, what happens is that once the exams are over, a CA student forgets that he is a CA student till the time the exam results are going to come. He's forgotten that he is a student because exams are over, gone, everything gone. But you should not do that. Sometime you have to keep to update yourself in some subject. I'm not talking the subject which you're studying, but yet, if suppose if you're not happy in a particular subject, then start with that subject. Suppose you're not appeared properly, maybe you know that you may not get through. So in that case, you can start with that subject. If you're not sure of passing, you should increase the knowledge of something that you are passionate about. Suppose you're sure of passing, sorry. If you're sure of passing, then what happens is you have to look at some subject which you are passionate about, but yet keep in mind that this is going to be useful for you in the future as a professional or something like that. Don't do something unrelated. Yes, you can do some painting and things like that. If you're interested, you can do, no doubt. But I'm saying also keep of something which in these 2 months you can do and improve yourself. Again, I leave it to you what you have to do. It is up to you. But then when you look back, this is very important. You should feel happy that for what you have done in those period, in the matter of 1.5 months, what or 2 months, whatever time, when you look back, yes, I have done substantially something good. That is a feeling that you need to get, which is very important. Now here I just want to bring you one story again. It's a very interesting story. It's about Karoli Takacs. He was again in the Hungarian army way back in late 30s, right? He was already a national champion for rapid fire pistol shooting. So 30s Hungarian army national champion, rapid fire pistol shooting. We can mark these words, right? He was getting ready for the 1940 Olympics. So you can imagine that PV Sindhu fighting in Brazil Olympics, with Marin. What an important thing. Now you are going to get Tokyo Olympics, and Marin is, injured. You can imagine what state of mind she is. But Sindhu is going to fight, and she's trying to get the gold this time. So much of preparation, so much of once in a lifetime event. But what happens to this Karoli Takaksi? During army training, which was in the army, when a faulty grenade exploded, his right arm was rendered useless. Can you imagine the right hand with which he was shooting? It became useless because the grenade went off. And then what happened? Let us see. Maybe his life went off because he was thrown out of probably the army because he cannot do, is what you may be thinking. But this guy was a special guy. And that's what his story is now in front of you. Because this guy went back and went into hiding. Nobody knew where he was. And after about probably 1 year or so, he comes back to meet his friends who are there competing in a competition. He comes there into the shooting range, and when they see him, the friends are so happy, right? Oh my God, how are you, Karoli? You have come back. How are you doing? Thanks for coming here. How you are okay? And you come to see us, cheer us. Then he says, no, no, I am not come to cheer you. I have come to compete with you. So they were shocked. I said, your hand is not there. How are you going to compete? I said, no, I have got my left hand. And believe me, what he has been doing in the last 1 year has been practicing with his left hand shooting. Just imagine this guy's, mental grit and the, urge to do it. If he think he can, that is what is it. If you think you can, that is what is the thing. If you think you can, that is what is the thing. He had that power. Therefore, he competed in that with his left hand, and you can imagine what happened. He won that tournament and beating all his friends. He became again a national champion. Again, he became a national champion. Again, what happened? 1940 Olympics. 1944 could not take place because of war, World War. 1948, Karoli Takacs became the gold medal winner for this rapid fire pistol. 1952 Olympics, he became again gold medal winner for 1952 Olympics. This is, my dear friends, the story of Karoli Takacs, and this is a picture of his shooting with his left hand. You can see this is what we want, and you can imagine in this type of negative situation how he has made it positive by completely changing from his right hand to the left hand. I'm sure your CA exams are much easier than this. So therefore, my friend, finally, I just want to bring to your attention the three I's and P's which are very, very important for your CA success. Interest should be absolute, which is the first I. Intelligence should be average. Involvement should be adequate. Plans, in the plans, your P's is the plan. First is you have to plan properly, very important. Prepare well and persevere, really work hard, and then you will be successful. And this is a beautiful quote from Winning Ways by Patabi Raman, who is also a very good speaker. So in fact, he has come to Kollam also once, and I was lucky to go through it, and I was very happy to pick it up from there to share with you only for your uh, improvement. Yeah, thank you very much for your patient hearing. And if you have any doubts or anything that you need to discuss with me, you can call me on my mobile number. It is given there. Then you can copy it down. Thank you for your patient listening.